So I'm Christian and I've attended church my whole life, but I've never had a spiritual experience. I don't know what it means. So I've attended church my whole life, and I've noticed something kind of weird. It's this weird idea that the depth of one's religious experience is equivalent to the depth of one's emotional experiences, and I just don't see any equivalence between the two. I can't tell the difference between a spiritual experience and an emotional experience. I know what it means to have an emotional experience, but I don't know what it means to have a spiritual experience. I can't tell the difference between the two. I just want to say that I'm okay with that. I don't define my faith by my feelings. Faith is a choice. Faith is something that I've chosen. And I have my reasons, and people can argue with me about my reasons, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean there aren't difficulties with religious faith. There are. And overall, I've just lived with the idea that I can't answer every question. Because I think that anything you believe will have difficulties. And I'll say that again. Anything you believe will have difficulties. If you become Muslim, you'll have difficulties. If you became atheist, you'll have difficulties. If you become Mormon, you'll have a lot of difficulties. Some beliefs are more rational than others, and that's really important to recognize. But the reality is that we have to learn to live with difficulties, and that's okay. And that's another video. But here's what I want to say. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a decision. Faith is not something that you feel. Faith is something that you believe and do. The book of Hebrews talks about faith this way. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And then it goes on to talk about by faith so-and-so did this. By faith so-and-so did that. It's always defined by what they do. In his earthly ministry, Jesus was talking to people and he was constantly saying things like, "Your faith has made you well." But it was always in response to an action. It was always something that they did. C.S. Lewis talks about faith this way. Now faith, in the sense in which I am here using the word, is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted in spite of your changing moods. For example, my reason is perfectly convinced by good evidence that anesthetics do not smother me and that properly trained surgeons do not start opening until I am unconscious. But that does not alter the fact that when they have me down on the table and clap their horrible mask over my face, a mere childish panic begins inside me. I start thinking I am going to choke, and I am afraid that they will start cutting me up before I am properly under. In other words, I lose my faith in anesthetics. It is not reason that is taking away my faith. On the contrary, my faith is based on reason. It is my imagination and emotions. The battle is between faith and reason on one side, and emotion and imagination on the other. As always, well said by C.S. Lewis. So I just wanted to leave you with that thought, which is, faith is not a feeling, faith is a decision. I've actually never had a spiritual experience. I've never felt the presence of God, and I'm okay with that. So that's all I have for you today. Hit the button, hit the bell. Catch you later.